And we are live. Good evening, Miss Rachel. This is Living in Jacksonville channel. How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you?
Good. We missed you last week. We did a testimonial show with customers that were talking about their experience a year ago moving to Nocatee from out of town
Yeah.
and the process of building. And man, it was a good one. We really got into the nitty gritty, but I love getting back into the Jacksonville jam with you, kind of getting us up to date on what's going on here in Northeast Florida. I keep getting the question over and over again, do you really think we're going to go do away with these property taxes? So I'm kind of excited to, get into that a little bit and some of the other topics you got going on tonight. Everybody that's watching, thanks for joining us tonight. It's Thursday night, 8 p.m. We are on here every Thursday night. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. We got content coming out on Tuesday nights and every Thursday night. Getting to join me and Miss Rachel. Thank you for all joining us. I can see all of you all logging on. So thank you. Come on, tell me where you are watching from. We know you're being bashful. So go ahead and put in the comments where you're watching from. And this is an interactive show today, people. So there might be some topics you might want to, a little controversy. You want to jump in there and put your little comment. So we welcome it as long as you're polite and intelligent. So let's hit it, Miss Rachel. What do you got?
Yes, I always love hearing other people's opinions and, getting some of your thoughts on things. So definitely.
Absolutely. I think it's good to hear from the people what thoughts are here, especially people from the area, because it really gives those folks that are watching from out of the area that are thinking about moving to Florida, what the jam is really like here.
Yeah. So, well, today I'm starting with more national news. This is Trump says America will not become a nation of renters as he touts restrictions on investor homebuyers in his Davos speech. So this is from realtor.com. I actually watched the whole speech and it was really interesting. He does talk about homes are built for people, not for corporations. America will not become a nation of renters. So he has signed an executive order banning large institutional investors from buying single family homes. Not fair to the public. They're not able to buy a house. So that's his push right now. I feel like, we're a real estate show. We got to talk about all the things that are going to impact, all things real estate. So Trump signing that, it is not really like a blanket ban on institutional investors from being able to buy homes outright. So it just kind of limits what they can do with the mortgage, with their mortgage options. So just something to know, but I thought that was really interesting. So if you are up against a cash buyer, cash investor, they're still going to have a little bit of a leg up on that. So that's not where the ban went.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, we are finding right now, being in the trenches, I can speak for myself that we are finding investors creeping back into this market because it's a buyer's market. There's opportunities right now. And I see a lot of private investors, but what this is really geared towards these massive institutional hedge funds that we stand no chance against, just buying up all the real estate and then turning around and, charging obscene amounts of rents. To people who can't afford to buy. And I find this administration, whatever political reasons are behind it, at least is being acknowledged. There are a lot of things we're probably going to talk about tonight that they're really trying to fix this national problem, not just the Florida problem, but the national problem of home affordability. Despite it being a buyer's market, people really need to understand that we have a massive need of people that are renting that are only wishing or hoping of one day of homeownership that make it become in reach. And so these institutional investors are limiting that possibility. So I'm glad to hear the administration is actually proposing options or ideas to make it more affordable for whatever the reason, because let's be honest here, there's political reasons for everything, right? But at the same time, at least it's being brought up.
Right. And I thought that this piece of this article was really, really interesting too. So executive order restricts mortgages for large investors On Tuesday night, hours before appearing in Davos, Trump signed an executive order that seeks to block large institutional investors from purchasing single-family homes that could otherwise be purchased by families. The order directs government-controlled mortgage giants Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to stop guaranteeing mortgages for purchases of single-family homes by large investors. So it's not an outright ban. The order would only impact institutional investors who seek conventional mortgages to purchase single-family homes, with no effect on the buyers using cash or alternative financing. The other piece of the puzzle, I think, is just something to know. The order does not specifically define large investors, so they have to come up with a definition in the next 30 days. So, but it does say the restrictions would not apply to small investors with a dozen or so rental properties. So, I know there's people out there too that also own more than one property, and those restrictions won't apply.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's called preservation of wealth or equity, if you will. With the weakening of the dollar and inflation, you can buy something that's tangible like a property.
Right.
You're just trying to protect your investments, if you will, and real estate is a fantastic way to do that. I think the key is here also, and there's always been fears about this, and I may be speaking outward and piss off a lot of people, but hey, I do that sometimes. I'm real. I keep it real. I'm not going to filter now. Why stop? But I think also when you say institutional investors, people need to understand that hedge funds and institutional investors can include foreign international entities or whatnot. And so a lot of foreign international countries, and anybody can comment they want in the comments. I'm not going to put what countries, but they're buying up a lot of U.S. property, and they use it through all different methods, corporations, institutions, hedge funds, whatever it may be. So that's also a concern I think we should be concerned as Americans here in the United States as well. I'm not going to get into any more deeper than that, but really quick, I'm going to say, hey, Nancy, I love it. Good to have you back. Nancy's so loyal. Love her. Thank you for joining us. You're awesome. So yeah, go ahead.
Okay, and I really kind of started digging into this a little more. This article goes on large investor share of single-family home purchases. So this is large investors who own 50 or more properties accounted for less than 2% of all single-family home purchases last year. So it is like a kind of a smaller piece of the pie, but it's, 2% is still homes that, are off the market because somebody's purchasing it and then just renting it out, as opposed to having somebody who owns it and really invests in it.
Yeah, that's a very interesting stat. I would love to even more so understand where our large institutional investors are always looking at. Because when I used to invest heavily in multifamily before the rental market went down, we've seen a loss of about 7-8% in rents this year. We found a lot of our investors were focusing on the southeast region, including Florida, Georgia, those areas. So it is very interesting to also note where are the institutional investors really putting their money, if you will. So
yeah, it would be interesting to know like just what pockets of if it's 2% of the national average, that would be interesting. But what if it's a bigger piece of the pie for
well, it's usually landlord-friendly states like Florida, unlike New York or California, where it's hell to, evict someone that's not paying rent, those kind of things. But again, you're laughing or smiling at me because maybe I'm hitting on certain things. But listen, I'm an investor too. And, I'm like, it's hell to be a landlord in New York or California. In some other states. So sorry, that's just the way it is. So naturally investors are going to go to landlord friendly states, it's like Georgia, Florida, if you will. So anyway, I digress.
Yeah. So that's, one thing that looks like it might impact the real estate market, this year. And that also Trump, he's pushing for $200 billion in bonds from Freddie and Fannie to the mortgage-backed bonds purchases. It's funny because I have two different articles. This one says Trump's mortgage-backed bond purchases not moving the needle on housing costs. So we've got one article. And then the next article says Trump wants Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to buy more bonds. Will it lower mortgage rates? And then it just says it already has. So it's interesting. We've got one article saying not going to make a difference, and then you've got another one saying it already has made a difference to mortgage rates. But I'm curious what you're seeing, because I feel like you're, out there every day. You're seeing what people are applying for and getting. So do you think that even just that announcement has made a difference?
Yeah, so I mean, somebody has to buy the debt, right? And that's what these mortgage-backed securities are. Trump's trying to say to the government, you need to buy. He's like, first of all, he wants the Feds to lower rates. Feds can't lower the rates, and somebody's going to buy the bonds. So Trump's saying, hey, I want the government to buy the bonds. And in hindsight, it's good for the economy. It's good for morale that we're, again, moving in the right direction to make housing more affordable, because we have a massive national housing affordability problem, not just in Florida, on a national level. So again, he's proposing ideas so that the Feds, when the new takeover happens in March, when Powell steps down, that the Feds can lower rates. That's what they want to do. Look, we've seen rates go down for the first time below 6% 30-year. And we've seen a lot of people refinancing that got caught in 7% interest rates, 6.75. And if you're doing a conventional and you got down below 6, which we're starting to see now, it helps. But the truth is that the $200 million bill, was it million or billion? Believe it or not, it's only puts a slight dent into it, meaning we would need to buy back more than 200 billion. And by the way, these are backed bonds. And let's just say the US currency is not exactly, doing very well with the national debt in the trillions and trillions, and not seeing any relief to that. So there's a lot going on here. But again, the morale and the fact that the administration is trying to find ways to solve the affordability crisis, our family leadership, is a good step in the right direction. And we have seen rates drop below 6 for the first time in ages. A conventional loan, we were up above 7% at one point. So I think we're in a healthy place. I said if rates go down below 6, we would see a surge in sales, and we did. In December, we definitely saw a surge in sales. And then I talked to a lender today. Look, 200 billion is not going to make a huge dent, but we're seeing people refinancing. Also, I think I don't know if we mentioned it last year or whatnot. Now we are seeing everybody that had 2.5%, 3% interest rates. Back in the day, nobody was selling their homes, and a lot of people were like sticking with that mortgage rate, which I have too. I've had the same house for over 7 years. I'm locked in at 3% or 3 something. But lucky, but strategic at the same time, because I have to keep saying to my wife every year, no, we're not buying that house. No, we're not buying that house. No, we're not buying that house. That's not easy either. But life happens. And now they're saying for the first time since those lower rates, we're seeing now more people at 6% and above mortgage rate than those 3%, which means we've had so much turnover because naturally life happens. We've had, people upsizing, downsizing, kids, no more kids, divorce, whatever it is. And so we're starting to see now that more people have a 6% interest rate conventional loan in their home than the previous of us that had 3%. We've held out as long as we can. So that is a good thing, because now the new norm isn't 3 or 4% interest rate on your mortgage, it's 6%. And so that's a lot of positivity. The new norm now is becoming normal because people weren't moving, because they were like, I'm waiting for rates to come down. Rates are not going to come down that low again. But I think it's healthy if we can get back into the 5s consistently on a conventional loan, and prices stabilize. We're definitely going to see an uptick this year in business. Sure, it was a tough year last year, but all the top agents in town or whatever that I've been talking to had their best year last year, including myself. Hell of a lot of work, but still having a great year. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot going on with Florida, which is kind of what we were talking about. Can Florida really eliminate taxes? Guys, there's a lot of stuff that can happen here, but it's not going to happen right away. It's a progressive thing that DeSantis is trying to propose over time. The money has to come from somewhere. So I'll let you go ahead and jump into that.
Okay, so yeah, Florida House committees advanced 2 property tax cut proposals that could go before voters. So this is sort of the latest. There's 2 options that the Florida Senate, they're continuing to ponder their approach, and the House committees on Thursday advanced 2 tax cut proposals. I'll just kind of outline the 2 options that are currently, making their way through the system. We have one that is, the way it's set up, it's intended to give local governments time to adjust to the eventual elimination of non-school property taxes. It would be phased in by gradually raising the homestead tax exemption. So the representative Monique Miller, she says, I believe that this is going to give everybody an opportunity to live within their means, and I think they'll be able to deliver their core services without any problems given the change in budget. So her plan basically is to slowly increase the homestead tax exemption to where the local governments have time to sort of figure out how they're going to deal with that change. So that's one option. Then the other option is, here, let's see. Okay. The other proposals here, it would limit increases in taxable values for homesteaded property under the Save Our Homes cap to 3% over 3 years, meaning the current way it's set up is your taxes can increase up to 3% every year, but this would make that cap 3% over 3 years. So this is
so what people need to understand that this is specifically on primary residences. This is your homestead. This is where you live in Florida. Basically, the current rule says, look, we can't. The county can't over assess the evaluation of your home more than 3%, even if it's increased in value, which we've seen tremendously since COVID here in Florida. They can't do it more than 3%. Now they're saying it can't go more than 3% in 3 years, which again will limit people's taxes going up, because here in St. Johns County, we've seen property taxes go up every year incrementally, regardless if it's your homestead or not. It can be increased each year, and it has. So that's what that is. And again, another smart rule that, rewards residents, especially retirees on fixed income or whatnot, that, are sitting on property that are increasing massively in value, not to be killed with increases incrementally every year by 3%. It still can creep up on you.
Right. I mean, especially if you're, just a working person and maybe your average increase in pay is like, what, 2%? I could get a raise.
Exactly.
So
exactly, 100%.
Obviously that would not work out in your favor. So that would be a good option. Also, that measure would also limit increases in the taxable values of non-homesteaded property to 15% over 3 years, rather than the current 10% a year. So again, a little higher for the non-homesteaded people, but like over 3 years as opposed to 10% a year. You get the idea.
Yeah.
So those are the 2 options that are out there. It is a big priority. I think this is one of those things. It's a big talking point. Everybody's talking about it. The governor has said that this is a big priority, but of course, the lawmakers are still trying to come up with, what does this really look like? Where does the money come from? For things that we need. How do we still pay for firefighters and police officers?
So I mean, people need to understand also, this is a proposal. Now, this doesn't affect school taxes. They're saying that, look, you're still going to be taxed on the technical school county taxes, because you're paying taxes that go to the school county public school system. You're paying taxes for your firefighters, your roads, police, all that. And that's the part they're really worried about, is how are we going to pay for libraries, police, firefighters, schools? And so they're proposing different options for that, where we can make up for those funding with increasing sales tax, for instance, 3%. Because they're saying, look, Florida is a big tourist destination. A big bulk of that money will also an international destination too, especially South Florida. So we would regain a lot of that bulk from 3%. But the other thing that I found was interesting, and we're seeing it happening all over the country here, is that this discussion is now, with everything going on in the country, this discussion is showing now also that counties are using our hard-earned property taxes as a piggy bank, and that they're not using discretion on using the funds, and they're misappropriating the funds to areas. So there's going to be a little scrutiny here in our counties about where the funding is going, because there's already been scrutiny in Orlando and Orange County. And guess what? There's been a little bit of scrutiny going on in Duval and Jacksonville. So we're 20 minutes in live, so people won't come at me with political crap here. But listen, when we start talking about money, we start following the money trail and go, look, guys, where's our tax dollars going? Property taxes, since we're in the subject of how do we save it and reward ourselves and make it more affordable for us. But at the same time, we're going, where is our money going now? Okay. And that's starting to create some friction, because people are like, what do you mean? What is this nonprofit? What is this set up for? Who's this organization? So very interesting things are going on a national level, and in a Florida level, and in a county level here in Northeast Florida.
Right. And yeah, the chief financial officer for the state also has said the same thing. Local governments have used residential property taxes as an ATM for the past few years. So, I mean, really.
And that COO for Florida is raising some serious controversy, including here in Jacksonville. Which is interesting to me, because he had a social media page of himself with our mayor of Jacksonville, a digital screen in the airport terminal of her welcoming people to Jacksonville, and they're saying that digital screen in the airport was $75,000 or $80,000, and he goes, "This is beautiful and all, but $80,000." So, I think there needs to be a little bit more discretion with government, how our funds are being used. I think these discussions are very healthy to figure out, how funds are being used, and then also have conversations how we can make Florida more affordable for primary residents moving here. I don't think it's a bad discussion. A lot of the proposed ideas are very good. It will not happen right away. It will never happen right away. There's no way that could happen right away, but it could incrementally happen over the next 10 years. They're trying to phase it in where primary residents have been here a while would limit, or now again, more so the non-school taxes, okay? Because they still have to pay for education. So I think things will happen. And the fear of this for some people, and I've had some of my clients say, oh, I better buy in Florida now, because if it does happen, you think enough people are flocking to Florida enough, even though there's 12 inches of snow going on in New York right now, or you think they're moving because of politics, or whatever, and now they're going, oh crap, we've been talking about this for 3-4 years. If Florida reduces property taxes and limits it and becomes it more affordable, even they propose reducing property taxes by $1,000. DeSantis has proposed that. So even if we removed $1,000 off of property tax, that could help some people, $1,000 every year. That we're moving in that right direction. Do you think more people are going to move here? And if more people move here, what's going to happen to evaluations of homes? Is it going to become unaffordable again? Is it going to turn from a buyer's market again back to a seller's market? Because now we're going to have all these people migrating back to Florida again. So it's very interesting what's going on here. And I'm not going to lie. I mean, look, I sell real estate. So yeah, of course I want it to be prosperous here, but I do want it to be affordable. And it's a double-edged sword. You make housing affordable by lowering property taxes, more people are going to move here. Now prices of homes are going to go up again. But they can counter that with affordable housing, okay, which they've done, which we do have in the county. So anyway, I'm getting deep into this. I'm geeking out. Sorry, you can continue.
I mean, all of that is valid. And yeah, I mean, I was curious if you were seeing that already from people that call you. So It sounds like.
Oh, people are asking. Believe me. I mean, they're like, hey, I would love for property. I mean, look, St. Johns County, the property tax has gone up every year. We have CDD fees. It's not cheap, but we get a lot back in return. Okay. We're still nowhere near New Jersey, and people are like, we don't get anything like what what you guys are getting. So you have to think about it like, what are we getting back in return? And especially in St. Johns County, I think the county's done very well. Of course, a lot of people are going to counter that with, well, yeah, they've got the developers and the developers have the politicians in their pocket. They keep building, building, building. There's so many different discussions we can have about this, but nobody's making comments about it. So I guess it's okay.
Well, I mean, that's also part of the problem, right? Like that's part of why, we have some of this housing issue is because there is a little bit of a shortage. So,
Yeah.
we do kind of have to keep building houses so people have someplace to live.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely.
All right. So we have a little bit of mixed news here. Jacksonville unemployment hits 5.1%, while workers still in their jobs see wages climb 4.6%. So people who are keeping their jobs sounds like they're getting better pay, but we did have a little bit of an unemployment jump in Jacksonville. And the markets that seem to be the job market that seemed to take the hit was construction. So interestingly. So, and manufacturing. So it'll just kind of interesting. But I know, here we go. The state saw job losses over the past year in construction, manufacturing. Those declines were offset by continued growth in education and health services. So just sort of interesting. But sounds like pay is going up, and we'll just kind of have to keep an eye on that unemployment number. But I do know
the unemployment number is interesting, right? Because Jacksonville has always had below the national average. Construction, let's face it, we were full on construction, hiring and building. And suddenly in the last year or two, we've kind of seen builders slow down now. With the tariffs in place, cost of building is up. Then you add immigration in, lack of the workforce. And then of course the market slowed down in the last 2 years, 24 and 25. We've had a abrupt halt in the real estate market. Rates are high. There's a lot of stuff going on. So naturally I know some major builders that we've talked about in the past that did let go a lot of people because you have to cut costs. If the money's not coming in, we don't know what's going to happen. We have no idea what's going to happen. So that's normal.
Right. So it just seems like normal fluctuation of the market, but it just is what it is. But here we go. Jacksonville home affordability improves modestly while St. Johns County faces widening wage price gap. So St. Johns County homes require an income of $112,600 versus the typical wage, which is $60,700. And Duval County median home price reached $272,500 in the fourth quarter. So our affordability improved modestly due to lower rates. So again, the lower rates is a factor. So comes back around to that.
Yeah, and I'm going to make a comment to that. Listen, folks, I'm not going to lie. St. Johns County is an amazing place to live. We love living here. It is not cheap anymore. It was kind of back in the day, 5, 6, 7 years ago, it was very affordable. It has become expensive, no doubt about that. And I've been talking to lenders and land buyers for builders and people, whatnot, and they're saying, well, what's the alternative? So the question is, what is the alternative? Well, there's a lot of great alternatives. We've expanded our business down to Palm Coast, Flagler, and now I was showing homes up in Amelia National the other day. So if my friends are watching, so Nassau County, we were out in Clay County, way more affordable housing. You get much more for your money. And guess what? Nothing wrong with those counties. Flagler's a little behind, but Clay and Nassau County, guess what, people? When I lived in South Florida, we kept migrating north. Well, I wouldn't be totally phased if your kids are older and you're moving out. You can go south to Palm Coast, or you can go north to Amelia, or you can go west to Green Cove Springs or west to there. So again, if anybody has some comments on that, I'm welcome them all day long. But there are other options, and that's why we're expanding to other areas to make it more affordable, because first-time home buyers can't afford it necessarily, and retirees, unless they're coming with lots of equity from New York, New Jersey, or wherever those are where most of the people are coming from, where they have lots of equity, or California. You've got retirees that have fixed income to live on and don't know how long they're going to live. They're not like, I don't need all the frills of a CDD community and all the massive expenses that come along with that. Right, Nancy?
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on what you're looking for, what you need. There's a lot in this area in North Florida.
Yeah.
I really truly believe there's an area of this part of the state that is for everybody. Like, depending what you're into, if you like the beach, if you're more, you just like a little more space, there's something everywhere.
Absolutely. I think in Northeast Florida is a treasure in Florida. So I tell you what, there's something for everyone. And that's why we've done the expanding to different areas to give other options for our people, because I certainly think that it's all about affordability. You shouldn't be stressed out about the options of moving to Florida. And there's tons of options, especially in this area, as opposed to South Florida. It's, Miami, Palm Beach, Boca Raton, Fort Lauderdale, Naples has gotten expensive. But there's plenty of options.
For sure. And actually, we're not the only ones who think so, because on the National Association of Realtors, they unveiled their top 10 home buying hotspots for 2026, and Jacksonville made the list.
Wow. What number are we?
Well, it says number 5, but it's alphabetical order. So.
Okay. Oh, it's alphabetical. All right. Charleston, South Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, Columbus, Ohio, Indianapolis, Indiana, Jacksonville, Florida, Minneapolis, Raleigh, North Carolina, Richmond, Salt Lake City, Spokane, Washington. Interestingly enough, we have a lot of people moving away from the Carolinas, mostly on the coastal areas, because of storms and whatnot, flood zones and all that. So we've had a lot of people calling up from South Carolina, believe it or not, which is interesting to me. But good list. I like seeing it.
Yeah. So, it's nice to be on the National Association of Realtors list for Jacksonville being on the hotspot list. I like it.
Well, we have so much growth here. It's ridiculous.
That's true. Also, 3 St. Johns County master plan communities rank among the nation's best-selling developments. So if you had to guess, what are they? Do you know?
Are you kidding me? I sell them all day long. Nocatee, we live here, baby. It's always has been. But you know what? Nocatee's coming to an end. So everybody goes, what's the other options? Well, you've got Rivertown is my second favorite in Silverleaf. So let me guess, those are the 3.
You got it. You nailed it. So yeah, Silverleaf was ranked number 7, with about 100 more homes sold in 2025 than in 2024. But of course, like you said, Nocatee is, all the new build that's coming to an end. And then number 22, Rivertown, increased its year-over-year sales by 57%, from 320 sales in 2024 to 502 sales in 2025. And then Nocatee's 37th. So yeah, it's slowing down, but still sold 417 homes in 2025.
Yeah, and I think everybody's slowed down most places or whatnot. It's not abnormal. And we really, honestly, I have people looking in the area that are in town right now. And I'm like, it's weird because we have a lot of 40-foot products, smaller homes, that 18 to 2,200 square feet. They had the last Nocatee certification program for realtors ever today. So that was kind of depressing. They're like, hey, we have a total of only 300 homes, and a lot of them are townhomes. A lot of them are 40-foot product. Very few options, maybe a few 50-foots to build. So that dream of being in a build in Nocatee near the beach and in a massive, amazing master plan community is coming to an end, which means resales are going to go up again when they have less competition from new construction. So still a hopping place. I still believe with all my heart in the long term, all the people that are complaining that the issues with Nocatee, that it's run out of steam. Sorry, it hasn't. If you see what happened in Ponte Vedra Beach, it's become grossly overpriced over there for older homes. And I hate to say it, folks, but we're the next thing over the intercoastal, close to the beach, and an amazing place to live. Prices are going to increase over the long term here. So those people that are waiting or saying no, they're either saying, look, some of the people that said they're waiting, they're not really waiting anymore. They're looking at other options, which is fine. There's a lot of great other options. There really is. So this is a good fact here. Charleston taxes are 9% or more. There you go.
Oof.
Is that why people are leaving South Carolina? Okay. Yeah, never mind. Sorry.
Well, also I saw this, a home builder buys lots in Honey Branch Farms for over $8 million. So this is another St. Johns County community. And this is Toll Brothers. They purchased a total of 27 parcels for $8 million. So this is a planned subdivision off of County Road 208, an area traditionally used for farmland and low density housing. Honey Branch Farms was approved in 2024 as planned rural development project. It has allowed 54 homes on a total of 273 acres. So this is a new community on the way. Toll Brothers. I know you like Toll Brothers. I know your people like Toll Brothers.
Yes, people like Toll Brothers plans, okay, but Toll Brothers is not perfect, but they are a good company as far as floor plans, and it's all about the builder at the end of the day. They are doubling down on Florida. Their C-suite was just visiting Florida recently. They just got a new CEO, I believe, and they are rocking it and buying up property left and right, and they have some really interesting product that's coming to market, a lot of high-end stuff that is super exciting to me, like larger lots, bigger properties. I just did one this week on Tuesday, a 5,000 plus square foot home in Ponte Vedra. You talked about the land they bought in Ponte Vedra Beach for 12 million the week before last. They are buying up real estate left and right. And the reality is that these farm owners and whatnot, they're not making a killing, and a corporation like Toll Brothers going 10 million, 8 million, 14 million, and they're like, we don't have to work anymore. Okay, I guess milk farming and egg farming ain't that profitable after all, and they're selling the land. It's unfortunate too, but they are building a lot of high-end, beautiful luxury real estate, which is, not your typical box in a row, which is exciting.
Well, I did a little digging and found this as the plan from the.
I love when you do this. Check this out. Where is this?
So this is Honey Branch Farms. I can show you, like, this is the map that they give us. So this is a little spot here, County Road 208, Passetti Road. Does that help? It's St. Augustine.
I can't even read that. I'm old. St. Augustine. Is that where the new Iron Gate neighborhood, or is it going to be called Honey Branch, the community?
I believe it's going to be called Honey Branch, but I like seeing this because you can see the idea for the neighborhood, and you can already see, just looking at it, okay, those are bigger lots.
Yes. Yeah, they're really trying to fulfill a different market here, because a lot of our buyers are calling and going, hey, look, we want a 4-car garage. We don't want to be up against somebody. One of their communities, I believe they're going to allow parking your RV.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Acre lot, parking your RV. If you're interested in that, call me. It's getting open soon. And so West St. Augustine has a lot of farmland and real estate still left. So it's going to be very interesting. And again, people, when you think about it, Toll Brothers, okay, I hate to say, I don't want to poo-poo Lennar and D.R. Horton and Dream Finders. I won't call it what I used to do. But anyway, my point being is all those track builders that build thousands and thousands quick homes, like track building fast, that doesn't excite me as much as these projects. But remember, when you start seeing companies like Toll Brothers doubling down and buying up land left and right, 12 million, 10 million parcels, and then building $1-2 million homes, do you really think that we're going into a real estate recession here in Northeast Florida? What's your really thoughts about that? Do you think those guys are smart? They've been around for decades and they're doubling down in this area. Why do you think they're doing that? Do they know something we don't know? We're such simpletons. Are we so short-minded? Do we not realize what's going to happen here in Florida in the long term?
Right. Well, and I pulled up this map. I think it's going to go in this little spot right here. So
Ooh, can you
I'll widen
increase that?
out.
Oh yeah, why not? Right.
There you go. So south of World Golf Village
Yeah.
and west,
West of St.
directly
Augustine.
west of St. Augustine.
Yeah.
So
Look at all that land too.
yeah,
I'll
look
tell
at
you what. Yeah.
it. So that gives you an idea of the area we're kind of talking about.
And it's so central because you're literally west of St. Augustine, so you don't have to worry about the flooding that they have issues in the downtown St. Augustine. You're inland, and then you're east of the beautiful St. Johns River. I mean, it really is gorgeous country over there. It really is.
Right. And you're still pretty close to things. Like if you get over to 95 fairly quickly from there.
Oh, heck
So,
yeah. I mean, World Golf Village isn't that far away, and man, they have everything you can want there. I mean, who
yeah.
doesn't want Buc-ee's in your backyard? Just
I mean,
kidding.
I do
I
like that.
don't. I live in World Golf Village, right next to the Bass Pro Shop, Buc-ee's, and the new giant Walmart. And what else is over there to make it as more crowded as ever?
Yeah, it's just all the things. Costco, did you say Costco?
Costco. I didn't say Costco. All my Costco people, they love Costco. You know Costco's doing well when somebody calls you and they say, I want to be near a Costco. Like we go to Costco a lot. I'm like, that's one of your main, like, seriously? Like
I mean, I get
that's,
it.
yeah. Is that what you did
If you're the
when you
main
moved
grocery shopper?
when you moved to Illinois? Did you tell your realtor up there that you were wanting to be near Costco?
No, but that's only because I already knew where the Costco were.
Ah, okay. All right, there we go.
So
I retreat.
yeah. But okay, so I have one final article to end on that I think is just kind of fun. Flying taxis coming to Florida. How they work.
What?
I know. I thought this was sort of neat. It's not going to be a flying car. Like I was thinking, the Jetsons, and they said not like that. Not like the Jetsons. Not like the DeLorean. Not like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
What are we talking about?
It's going to be it's called. We're going to offer commercial advanced air mobility, and it's going to be including electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. So this kind of gives you an idea of what one looks like. It's sort of like an airplane, but with drones.
It looks like a drone.
Yeah, so it's interesting. It looks like it'll hold 4 people, and they're starting a pilot program. So
wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to provide flights between Palm Beach, Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood, and Miami international airports, possibly as early as this year, depending on testing and Federal Aviation Administration certification. So this is, something they're trying to push through. I thought this was interesting. They have plans to eventually pick up and drop off passengers at the Boca Raton Airport, the Witham Field Airport in Stewart, Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport, Miami Opa-locka Executive Airport, and Miami Executive Airport. The Miami Dolphins owner, Stephen Ross, plans to have helipads compatible with the aircraft set up at properties either owned or operated by him or his real estate development company. So that actually kind of includes a lot. So he's got offices in West Palm Beach, a golf club in Martin County, Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Miami's Innovation District. The little Haiti neighborhood will also have a stop. So this is the first round of what they want to do. But I started looking further down into this, and Jacksonville's on the list for one of the phases. So phase 1 of Florida air taxis, we start with Orlando, Tampa, Orlando Space Coast, Port St. Lucie to Miami, Tampa to Naples, Pensacola to Tallahassee. That's phase 1. And then we've got phase 2, Daytona Beach to Jacksonville. And then at this part D, Jacksonville to Tallahassee.
Interesting. Okay. I was thinking maybe the bullet train that goes to Miami, Orlando is fantastic. Why not continue it from Orlando to Jacksonville, as it's probably going to go to Tampa next? But this is even better. I mean, Let's see. Nancy's right here. Greg, doesn't your car fly? Yes, my car has wings in the back, but it does not fly. But I'll tell you what, if you think I flew one of those to show houses, would you guys be more inclined to give me a call and hire me as your agent if I could go ahead and take you in my, what are these things called? Flying taxis? Take you in
Flying
I'm a glorified flying taxi in a way. So, I mean, would you get in one of these things with me?
Me?
Anybody for that matter.
I don't know.
I know my wife. I know my wife wouldn't.
I don't know if I'm getting in one of these, period. But I will be the first to admit that I'm not really ever an early adopter of anything new and cool. Like, I think it took me forever to get an iPhone.
Yes. Well, you do know that, you know what? I'll tell you what. On the Jetsons, they pretty much had phones where you could see the person you were talking to. And back then we used to think that was crazy. And that was just an iPhone. So we're not far off, I don't believe, from what's happening here with technology.
Yeah. I mean, they're already, working on test flights and stuff. So they're planning to offer flights in Florida that could reduce the 90-minute car commute to a 20-minute flight. So
beautiful. So much for traffic.
So, I mean, it is interesting. And like you said, the train would be awesome, but it's, it's costly because you've got to buy up all the land and then you have to build it. This is kind of a little bit.
No, this is going to be expensive too. This is for this is for the elitist. I mean, come on. This isn't Uber we're talking about here.
It said flights would be like $200.
No way. That's great.
That's what it said.
Wow, yeah, I like it already.
Yeah, here we go. It has not revealed air taxi fares, but promises they will be cost competitive with ground transportation. The Wall Street Journal reported the trips could be as low as $200.
Wow. All right. Interesting. I like it. Pretty cool.
I thought it was neat. And I thought you would like this. This seemed like, this is like our nerd alert news article.
Wait a minute. User UKAPE5CL just disclosed something about Miss Rachel. Miss Rachel flew off a mountain in a glider, so she will do the taxi. Oh, do tell.
This is okay. It wasn't off of a mountain. I have a feeling my mom is watching and she is.
Oh, I love it. Good stuff.
Yes,
you have to share the story of what on earth you were thinking. How old were you and where was this?
Okay, so I was.
Anybody who wants to know the story, text it in the comment now. Miss Rachel must tell the story.
Okay, so this was somewhere near Chattanooga. So, up that way. And
an air glider?
No it was a hang glider. But what's funny is when you hang glide for the first time, they don't just stick you in the thing with a guy, an instructor to jump off the mountain in the hang glider. They tow you behind an airplane, like a tiny airplane, attached with a rope, and you're just in this hang glider and you're just being dragged behind this airplane, and you go up in the sky, and then you have to pull the cord, and then you fly down in the little hang glider with the instructors, with you on the back. So I did do that. I did do hang gliding.
You daredevil, you.
I did do that.
Would you do it again?
No, this was pre-kids.
I love it.
I was like 28, 29, knew that we had just been married, and I knew kids would be on the horizon at some point. I was like, well, I'm going to do something crazy. I'm going to do it now.
Beautiful. I love it. Cool. I think we'll end it right there, that you were flying in gliders off of mountains, apparently in Chattanooga. So little inside information. We finally learned some crazy stories of Miss Rachel back in the day. Hey, Tyrone, absolutely. If you're looking for Toll Brothers, I'd love to help you, and anybody else that's interested in new construction. That is definitely a heck of a process. When you get into new construction, you want to have the right people on your side. And of course, it doesn't cost you anything to have representation. The builders pay my commission, so you'd be silly not to have an advocate on your behalf. And certainly that's one of our main things, is relocation and new construction. So if you're watching this show and you're thinking about moving the area, I'd love to be your resource of choice. You can text me, call me, email me. It will pin to the comment section tonight. And sincerely appreciate all of you that are watching and joining us tonight. Thank you, Miss Rachel, for this information. Thank you to Miss Rachel's mom for giving me a laugh tonight. One thing I didn't know about you, Miss Rachel, is flying gliders before pre-children. So exciting. I've never even done that. I've never even went skydiving. So
I haven't done that.
To you.
So, you know.
Kudos to you. But thanks everybody for watching and joining us tonight. Of course, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. We're on every Thursday night on our YouTube channel, Living in Jacksonville FL. My name is Greg DiTullio, and thank you for joining us tonight. And until next time, have a wonderful evening.